guys, let's talk about all the games happened on December 14th. We only have 4 games on Tuesday night. 3 games, actually, because the Chicago game got canceled. And the news is that that game also going to be canceled on Thursday. The Bulls game going to get canceled on Thursday as well. Same situation happening with Nets. We have James Harden, DeAndre Bembry, Bruce Brown, Javon Carter, LaMarcus Aldridge. All those guys I think they all got placed into the protocol. And Kevin Durant was questionable. I really wondered if KD ended up not playing this game. Is this game going to happen? They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think you got to have 7 guys to... so it's really close. They might postpone some Nets games. I don't know. The fact that this game did happen, maybe no more games will be canceled. But the Nets will be really short-handed, so all the guys need to be streamed. And let's talk about Raptors first. This game went to overtime. Somehow the Nets did it behind KD. He had a 15. KD is going to be probably number 1 or number 2 player with Harden out. In the last 2 weeks, KD is the 3rd ranked player. LaMelo Ball played just 1 game, so really he's the 2nd ranked player. Just everything is great. I mean, other than the 0.5 steals, everything else. He's scoring, he's hitting threes, grabbing rebound, getting assists. And with Harden out, he's going to get a bunch of assists as well. For the Raptors, Scottie Barnes, also they got injuries on their own. We don't know when Ken Burge or OG Anunoby going to be back. OG has been disappointing this season. He's been out almost half of the season at this point. We don't know when he's coming back. And Nick Nurse said he's not close. So maybe 2-3 weeks, another 2-3 weeks. Not really good. But Scottie Barnes has been playing super strong. Another great game. No defensive stats this game, and his defensive stat has been super high in the last 2 weeks. Blocking 2.5 shots. That's not sustainable. I think we all know that. After this game, still the 18th ranked player. But he's a guy that could contribute across the board. Rebound, assist, steals, blocks. Field goal is okay, gonna score some points. And now he's added the 3-point shot into his fantasy game. So he's gonna make between 1.5 threes. I think his biggest problem is his free throw. On the season he's shooting like low 70s. I don't think the free throw is gonna improve. Honestly, I think it will be hard for him to improve. But everything else is super, super good. So if you punt your free throw or you ignore his free throw, he could be a top 40, 50 player. Top 50 for sure. Even if you count the free throws. Without it, maybe top 35. Really, really strong. Obviously a sell high, but I'll be really careful. Like I wouldn't trade him for a top 40 or 50 player. He might end up being better than that. And again, it depends on your team building category leagues. What do you really need? If you prefer some threes and free throws, he's not giving you that, but he's giving you everything else. Pascal Siakam, 25 points, a steal and a block, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Had a great game. And to me, Siakam is a top 50 player, and he has not been that this season. For the whole season, he's just the 89th ranked player in 9 category leagues. Because he's very solid points wise. You could expect around 20 points. Rebound as well, 8 rebounds and 4 assists. It's the other areas. But guys like this, I prefer having on my team versus like somebody where majority of their value coming from, like a Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba probably ranks higher than him, but it's just mainly just one category. If you have guys like Mo Bamba, I think there's a lot of high variance, and I would rather have a Siakam knows what I'm gonna get out of him. But even though like the points, rebounds still gonna be fluctuate, week to week, but not like blocks. You could go into a week, right? Maybe on average you have 10 more blocks than the other guy, but then Mo Bamba stop blocking any shots, only have 1 block. Then all of a sudden the blocks become super close. Chris Boucher had 32. He needs to be picked up roster in the short term, and God knows when those guys are coming back. In the short term, he's a must roster, and I don't think you're gonna trade him for anything. So just hold. Who knows, right? If he start playing better and better, Nick Nurse gonna maybe play him. It was the same situation last year with everybody out. Chris Boucher was putting up huge numbers. 2 blocks here, 9 rebounds, 9 points. Not the greatest, but still great. 9 rebounds and 2 blocks. Gary Trent Jr. continues. He's such a beast. Have some doubts about him with his steal numbers, but now I'm pretty convinced. On the season, he's the, oh my god, 22nd ranked player. Disgusting. In the last 2 weeks, 27th ranked. If we look at his season numbers, like 17 points is sustainable. I don't think that would be too crazy on this Raptors team playing 35 minutes. 17 points is no problem. 2.8 threes, I don't think is going to be any problem. Like the only thing, and he doesn't turn the ball over at all because he really doesn't handle the ball. He had 5 assists here, which is great. So maybe the turnover is a bit too low. Maybe he could have 1 turnover, but that shouldn't be too big. So the only thing that's also helping his ranking so high is the 2.1 steals. If it goes back to 1.5, his ranking may fall down to top 40, top 45, top 35. I don't know what's going to happen. But 2.1, to me, still a little bit high, but he's doing it. It's being, I don't know, quarter of the season. More, 40% of the season. And he's doing it pretty consistently, I would say. So at this point, I'm fully convinced. But mainly, majority of his value are coming from his steals. Fred VanVleet, 31 points, 9 assists, and 2 steals. Made all his free throws, 6 threes. A huge game from Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet is a pretty, quietly, he is, again, 17th ranked player on the season. If you're pounding field goals, he's even better. 28th in the last 2 weeks. And I think at this point, we all know what Fred VanVleet can do in fantasy. And, you can usually take him in the second round, and, I prefer to pound field goal with him. Provide very solid numbers across the board. And you don't even, he provides really good blocks as well. So you don't have to you don't have to worry about him giving you no blocks. He blocked a decent amount of shots as well. On the season, where his block numbers? He had 0.5, which is surprising to me last year, but he's been doing it for a couple of seasons now. I think Yuta Watanabe is somebody we could stream for defensive stats and maybe a little bit rebounds. Now that everybody is out, he played 27 minutes, had 3 blocks and 5 rebounds. Let's look at the Brooklyn Nets. All the guys, you could stream them, Blake Griffin, Claxton, even David Duke. I don't know who this guy is. I would expect some of the other guys getting a bit more minutes, like Cam Thomas, to get more minutes. But he only ended up playing 22 minutes. Kessler Edwards, I don't really know who these people are. But based on this game, David Duke and Kessler Edwards, we could potentially stream them. Same thing with Cam Thomas, because they're going to get such high minutes. And obviously, Blake Griffin, Claxton, and Patty Mills are all good streaming options for the rest of the week if their games don't get canceled. I think the fact that they played today should be good to go. Means all the guys who played had a negative test. And I don't see, it could happen, maybe it's negative now after 24 hours they become positive, but unless KD had an injury, can't go, then the game's gonna go up. KD's gonna be a number 1 player for this week, I think. He had a 51 point this game. Let them to a win. It was pretty good. 34 points, 11 assists. Yep, with Harden out, he's gonna average 10 plus assists, 13 rebound. Hey, KD, high usage, so the efficiency gonna suffer a little bit, but overall very great. Blake Griffin did a bit everything, needs to be rostered or streamed this week. Claxton, a huge game, 8 for 10 from the field, 16 points, a block, 7 rebounds, pretty decent. And David Duke, man, 6 offensive rebound as a guard, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals and 2 blocks. Yeah, I just got a feeling, the young guys coming gonna hustle a lot, get a bunch of defensive stats and rebounds. So for sure, let's grab him and see what happens. Patty Mills, 30 points, went off. Yeah, Patty Mills is going to be huge this week as well. Hit 7 threes. My God. Kessler Edwards, also 2 steals and 2 blocks. No blocks, but 2 steals and 10 rebounds. These are the guys we could stream. Who knows? They could provide top 50 values this week. Let's go to the next game. This game, the Warriors, the biggest news here is Curry waited till the Madison Square Garden national game to break the Ray Allen's record. I think the Reggie Miller is also there. So the other two guys behind him were both there, and right after he hit the three, they called a timeout, and so that he could have a moment with Ray Allen. So it's all for show. But I think the fact that the Warriors do have another back-to-back later this week. He's gonna miss one of those games. Like he wanted to rest on Monday, but realized he needs 6-3 to break it. So he's gotta play on Monday's game so that he could break the record on Tuesday. So it's kind of planned, right? I'm pretty sure like if coming into Monday's game versus the Pacers, if he's only 2 threes away, I'm pretty sure he's gonna rest and play on Tuesday. So they're really picking and choosing. But to be honest, Curry lately has now, he took 14 threes. So he hasn't been himself, I would say. And take Jokic over him still. 34 minutes, 22 points, a steal and a block, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 5 threes. Not the best game from Curry. While Jordan Poole had 19 points, but 13 for 13 from the free throw line is huge. 9 rebounds as well. Jordan Poole is a must roster. Pretty. He's been up and down, but top 70 player. I mean, return of Clay would impact him a little bit, but we'll see what's who's gonna lose a minute on what. Is he gonna come off the bench, right? I think he might come off the bench and finish games still. I think that's a real possibility. Kevon Looney, the guy keeps starting, but they never close with him. Andrew Wiggins, 18 points, 6 rebounds. Had a pretty Andrew Wiggins game, 3 threes, missed his free throws. And Draymond Green. This is the Draymond Green we know. 8 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. I want to see more games like this out of Draymond Green, but this is obviously great. Gary Payton Jr. now is only getting 10 minutes. Yeah, the bench, the Warrior bench guys, really, nobody's getting huge minutes. They're not really fantasy relevant at all. And obviously, they beat the Knicks again. The Knicks are in some huge. They're in some trouble. They're in some trouble. They're right now the 12th seed now. They lost 4 straight, 10-8. Maybe they should get Kemba back. I know Kemba wasn't playing. Maybe they should change something up. I don't know. It's not working out. Alec Burks, minutes is high, a must roster, 4 assists and a steal. And like if you can trade him, do a 2-for-1, trade him to the top 50 player, I would. Who knows? Like maybe Tom Thibodeau, because this is not working out. Maybe Tom Thibodeau start putting in Kemba Walker, right? Like the eye test shows that Kemba is a liability on defensive end, for sure. And he's pretty washed, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Why are they losing so many games? And they were winning games in the beginning of the season. Julius Randle, 31 points, 7 rebounds. Huge game from Randle, but he's been pretty underwhelming. A buy low before this game. Nerlens Noel and Mitchell Robinson. Noel played 24 minutes, had 1 steal, 3 blocks with 7 rebounds. Good. If you're pounding points and threes, he's a must roster. Same thing with Mitchell Robinson. If you're pounding points and threes, you got to roster him. Had just 1 block in 14 minutes. But this game was against the Warriors. I do expect Mitchell Robinson to play 20 to 25. I wouldn't drop him, right? If he doesn't fit your team, I really will try to. Like somebody in your league must love Mitchell Robinson, so you try to trade him for any value. Do a 2-for-1. Try to see if you can get some value back. Evan Fournier is a drop. Played 29 minutes, which is high in this game, but he has to be a drop. Get rid of him. Derrick Rose, I think in the short term with RJ out, is a must roster. 15 points, 6 assists, a steal, and 4 rebounds is pretty good. Same thing with Emmanuel. Well, Emmanuel could only play 20. I would expect with RJ out, he should get a few more minutes, but he didn't. That's not the case this game. So maybe we should hold off on him for now, just to see what happens. I mean, Kevin Knox now is in the rotation, so Tom Thibodeau is trying some stuff. Obviously, Obi Toppin was out. That's the reason why Kevin Knox is in. But the Knicks need to make some changes. They're not looking good at the moment. Let's talk about last game of the night. Only 3 games actually, because the Bulls game got canceled. It was a late one. Phoenix Suns beat the Portland Trailblazers without Devin Booker. Mikal Bridges, not the best game. Just 1 steal, 2 threes, and 8 points. For sure, he's been frustrating to own. But he had a couple games where, like the game against the Nets where he had 6 steals. You just got to be patient with him. I think if you have an efficient team, it makes perfect sense to have him, right? But if you're punting a few categories, if you're punting field goal, if you're punting turnovers, his value on your team is very, very minimal. The counting stats are not really there. Jay Crowder, a good stream because Phoenix Suns got 3 games in the first 4 days of the week. 11 points, 135 rebounds. Didn't do much. Did this game went to overtime? Yeah, this game went to overtime. So DeAndre Ayton came back and boom, had a huge game. 28 points, 13. Took 17 shots. This is more. You want to see more of that, but most of the time, when Devin Booker comes back, the field goal attempt's gonna be, go down. But 2 steals is great. A good game from Ayton. Landry Shamet is not really fantasy relevant, and give the guy 35 minutes, he doesn't really do much, other than hit some threes. Chris Paul, great. I mean, he played 41 minutes at age of 36, 37. Great game. I want to say, with Devin Booker out, he's going to put up some huge stats and maybe a sell high. But he's already like a top 10 player. Who can you really sell him high? Well, 15,000 a season. But again, I would get Paul George. If I can get Paul George for Chris Paul, I would. If I can get, I don't know about Joel Embiid because he gets hurt way too often. It's there's no zone. Right now, the guy is ranked between 15th and 25th. I don't think I would, trade anybody for Chris Paul. Really, really scary stuff from Chris Paul. 14 assists, 3 steals, 8 rebounds. Just keep doing it every single year at a very, very, old age. Cameron Johnson came off the bench, played 32 minutes, 4 threes, 12 points, 8 rebounds. He's a guy we could continue to stream because Devin Booker is going to be out until next week. Hamstring issue is very tricky. And I would try to trade Devin Booker right before he comes back. Who knows what's going to happen with this injury. He might go hard and, pull his hamstring again. Right? It's possible. Same thing with Cameron Payne. We could stream him until Devin Booker comes back. This game went to overtime, so everybody got a few minutes. But Cameron Payne, 25 minutes. You could stream him for assists, steals, and threes as well. He played super well. Took 14 shots as well. 4th option on this team, or this game. We could, give this guy minutes, he's gonna put up numbers. As we all know, even in the playoffs versus the Lakers, he was putting up huge numbers. So he's a guy that can put up numbers, given the minutes. I think we all know that. For the Portland Trailblazers, they're just a mess. Damian Lillard played 47. Man, who knows? If he doesn't get traded, he might get shut down. If the abdominal issues happens again, second half of the season, he might just get shut down and do surgery. Same thing with Kyrie a couple years ago. Kyrie, first year at Brooklyn, when KD was out for the Achilles injury, Kyrie had a shoulder issue. And, he played 1 game and then, boom, out for 2 months. And then, took some shots, came back, and then bothered him again. And then, boom, he was out for the season, decided to just do shoulder surgery. I'm not saying it's going to happen with Damian Lillard this year, but it's a possibility. So if I own Damian Lillard, there's just so many things against Damian Lillard this year. If I can get a top 15 player, struggling top 15 player, even a Bradley Beal, that's something I will be thinking about. Even though Bradley Beal has been horrible, and I don't think Bradley Beal can finish where he was last year, rest of the way. But at least he's healthy, unlike Damian Lillard. I would try to do those trades, and whenever he plays, Damian Lillard is not putting up top 10 numbers. For a week or two he did. But overall, he took 31 shots, but, everybody's out. So I guess that's understandable. 10 assists. Put up good counting stats, but he's a guy that I'm really trying to sell him. I would take a hit to get a top 25 player even, If I can get I don't know what would make sense. Ja Morant, maybe. Well, Ja Morant probably when he does come back. Yeah, I would try to think maybe, I don't know, Anthony Edwards, Jaren Jackson Jr., those young guys are pretty solid. Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, all those guys. I'll try to see if I can trade Damian Lillard for those guys. That's just me. If you don't like those trades, I would just hold. And Norman Powell, but once you go outside the top 35, it gets tough, because who knows, he might just play out. But it's not really good. Norman Powell in the meanwhile is a must roster. If he struggles, I would buy low. Consider that the Portland team is a mess and CJ McCollum is out. I mean, there's just so many things. CJ could get traded. So Norman Powell is going to have a lot of minutes. He's going to get a lot of shots. He's going to get a lot of usage. 23 points, 3 threes, 6 rebounds, 2 steals is really good. Yusuf Nurkic, 38 minutes, great. The minutes is there. 17 points, 13 rebounds, good field goal, 5 assists and a steal. Overall, very nice game from Yusuf Nurkic on the season. Let's check his last 2 weeks. Yep, he is he has not been good in the last 2 weeks. 161st ranked player. The free throw is pretty poor. 74% from the free throw line, and really not getting a lot of defensive stats. 0.5 steals and 0.8. But to me, he should be a top 50 player. Very, very solid rebound numbers. And then the fact that he played 39 minutes is really encouraging if he can keep it up. Larry Nance Jr. started, but Robert Covington come off the bench and played 36 minutes. So we got to hold on to Robert Covington. The upside is still there. He's still getting the minutes even though he's coming off the bench. And we could pick up Larry Nance. He could bring multiple categories. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. Free throw is bad, but he's not this bad usually, and good field goal guy as well. So Larry Nance Jr., if he's out there on the waiver wire, let's go pick him up. I think it's not. If he's still out there, go grab him quickly. And that's a little, he will start, but not getting a lot of time, so I'm not too interested in him. Anthony Simons is another guy. In the short term, he needs to be rostered. Didn't really play well this game, but CJ is out, right? And who knows? Some of those guys might get traded, and we don't know when CJ is coming back. This Blazers team, I think, especially if you're a veteran, right? As the season goes on, the outlook is not good unless you get traded to a team. The situation right now is not ideal for some of the guys, and Damian Lillard especially. I really try to sell him. But yeah, that's it. That's it for all the games. I will see you guys tomorrow.